So comic books can kind of seem intimidating if you like all the superhero movies, but you want to read some funny books. Well, good luck for you. This video is going to help you out. We're going to give you a beginner's guide on where to start reading comic books. Now, Kim, I know you read comic books. I live and love comic books.
I read them, but you are them.
I bleed them. I bleed them. And I make them. And I make them. Real quick before we get into like our choices and stuff like that, we just want to tell you that much like different mini mediums, there are multifaceted mediums. So they have single issues. There are trade paperbacks which collect the single issues. There are graphic novels which sometimes can be original stories, or also they're another name for trade paperbacks. And then you can read digital comic books in many different forums, including Comixology and Amazon. So there's a lot of different ways you can check it out. I always say for new readers that the best way to get into comic books is to figure out a medium or a character or a story that you like in terms of other mediums, TV shows, or movies, and then go find a graphic novel or a trade that matches that. It's like a movie. It's a one shot into your best medium. Now, Kim, how did you get into comic books?
I don't remember, but here it is. I think what I've done is similar to what you've done, which is I fixate on one character and I will go for it. So I've read all the Star Wars Princess Leia comics, but I haven't read the other ones. I only did Princess Leia. And I've also read a bunch of Wonder Woman because I love Wonder Woman and I like what she's about. So what I've also done is read the classics, like the standalones. I've read Watchmen, which you could probably get through, what, in a day?
Yes, but I actually would disagree with that. I would say Watchmen is not
Is it too hard?
Is too hard as an introductory comic book. I really think so. Because Watchmen is all about deconstructing comic books.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like...
So what's the good base layer?
A good base layer for a lot of comic books, again, it all depends on what you really like. But for me, I say if you're interested in Batman, one of your best introductory comic books to Batman is Batman Year One. It is his origin story. It's very similar to Batman Begins. It's a nice, easy step into it.
But let's say we've already seen Batman's origin story 500 or 600 times. What should we do else? I would say maybe The Dark Knight Returns, or is that too far?
I think that's too far as well.
Dang it!
I think that's too deep.
I just have a lot of faith in everyone.
I go easy. Because I've been around comic books so much, one of the things that I constantly see from fans is that I tried reading this comic book and I gave up.
What?
And I do think there are comic books that are too heady, too continuity-wise, and that's a big thing about comic books, just like television. They're too much continuity. The better story, I think, to read for if you don't want the origin story, go Batman Hush.
Okay.
It's 12 issues. It's a Batman mystery. It's Jim Lee drew it, one of the best comic book artists of all time. Jeff Loeb wrote it, who now works over at Marvel Studios. And it's Batman basically facing off against every villain he's ever had. He's got Joker, he's got Riddler. It's got a little bit of flavor of everything in there. So Batman Hush is a really good story. If you're like, I want to read the Avengers, but where do I read the Avengers? There is a great story called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and it's sort of a retelling of the Avengers origin. It's very good. Also, Avengers Volume 1 by Jonathan Hickman is a good intro, especially like the movie Avengers. Like if you're very much like, I want Marvel superheroes, it's a great place to go.
So what I'm assuming is people here, or maybe in this position, know about these heroes from maybe movie or televisions, movies or television, but you know, how do I jump into this? A lot of them are very different though. Like the Guardians are very different from the Guardians movie.
They're nothing like the movie versions, exactly. And that's something that you're gonna have to get used to. It's just that they have been adaptations, they've been adapted many different times. But basically, again, it's like any medium, it's like television, it's like movies. Find what you like and go with it. Now there are 3 comic books that I recommend for anybody. And they are great introductory tales, they're completed stories, and I think they're just so well written.
Okay.
The first one I would recommend is Sandman by Neil Gaiman.
That's a good choice.
Yes, it is a 70-issue series. The art is a little dated. Just it's 1980s art, but get past that. It's a great story. It's so good. Neil Gaiman's amazing. If you read that and you don't love it by the end, then I don't think you have a heart.
Whoa.
I'm just throwing it out there right now.
That's a gauntlet.
Another one that I think is a great introductory tale is Fables. It's Fables by Bill Willingham.
You know, I haven't read that one.
It's the story of all the fairy tale creatures that we've known for our entire life now live in the same apartment building in New York.
Is this Once Upon a Time?
It's what Once Upon a Time ripped off. And it's much better than Once Upon a Time.
Good, because I didn't like Once Upon a Time.
It's more adult, it's very contemporary, but it's a great series. And then my last choice for you, if any comic book, if this is more of a horror vibe, it's Lock and Key
Oh.
It's written by Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King, and it's about a bunch of kids moving into the house that their dad lived in, finding all these mystery keys that open magical and mystery doors.
Oh.
Those are my 3 best recommendations. If you've never read comic books before, you don't need to know anything else. You don't need to know continuity, and I think they're great tales. They're kind of like one-offs, like giant movies.
Okay, I mean, that's a lot more easy to get into. Like, you could just jump in the middle of like Court of Owls and be so confused.
Yes, yeah, and that's the problem with modern superhero comic books, really, is that they're so deep dive with continuity and characters and Easter eggs that you're going to be so confused.
You can get there later.
That's
you
can
step 3 or 4.
Ease into it. Ease into it is what I would say.
Okay, okay. So it doesn't have to be hard. Guardians is not like Guardians, and Teen Titans, the animated show, is not like Teen Titans, the comic. Just to put that out there. But there are many different ways. Please follow up with Jason's recommendations. Maybe mine are difficult. I'm willing to put that out there. All right, let us know what started you on comics, if you already have, on Facebook and Twitter.